Hey, how are you? How has your May been in semi-lockdown? Things are opening up now, aren't they, around the world? It's all a bit higgledy-piggledy. Who knows what's going on where? I don't. I'm not reading the news. So anyway, we're not here today to talk about global pandemics. We're here to talk about language learning, a little review of May and looking forward to June as well. And I want to ask you how things have gone for you, how things are going for you at this time. Like, seriously. What's up? How's it going? How's your language learning? Let me know in the comments down below. But before we get too into this video, I want to give you a quick reminder that you can get a free language learner planner and a free teacher planner for the month at the links in the description. I'll put the links there as well for the solo language learner planner and the online language teacher planner. These are much bigger, much more robust, much better versions because they're not free. Those links are there as well if you really want to get into your planning, get ready for June and make it your month of language learning. So let's start with my May. How did my May go? I quite like saying my May. I might just take that in. My May. That's good. Sounds nice. My May went well. Things I would say kind of at the beginning, like everything kind of really ramped up here in the UK sort of mid-March time. And I just said, okay, language goals to one side, everything I've been doing so far this year with learning Manx, Welsh, bits of Scottish Gaelic as well, and bits of Cornish, kind of like I was doing all of that for language stories. We were supposed to start filming language stories middle of April, didn't happen, thanks COVID. So that's all been sort of postponed at least until 2021. We'll see what happens. So yeah, that was kind of, my initial reaction was like, it feels just like bittersweet to keep learning these languages that I've been learning for this purpose that now will not happen. So I just said, okay, goals aside, let's just see where my kind of language will takes me and go with the flow, which is exactly what I did in April. I just had lots of fun. I dabbled in Arabic on Duolingo. I did a whole weekend of just learning Norwegian, like because there were courses on Future Learn. I was like, why not? Let's just do this. And what else? Oh, I did an Irish course, very dabbly on Future Learn as well. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then May came around and in fact, no, that's a lie. Sort of end to mid-April happened and the italki Language Challenge in Language League, someone mentioned it and I was like, oh, that always helps me. I'm going to sign up for that. So I did. 2nd of May, I was due to run an actual running marathon. And I thought, okay, that's obviously not happening anymore. It's been postponed. So I decided to do a language marathon. Now, there's a video coming very soon, or maybe by the time you see this, it will have already been published. So you can check that out. I'll put a little card thing above so you can watch that about how that went. But short story, it was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. I had 12 lessons over the day from like 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 at night with some gaps in between, obviously, mostly 30-minute lessons. And I checked in with all of the languages that I've ever studied to some kind of level of competence. So it was a lot of fun and it was very kind of eye-opening that there were languages there that I felt like, oh, it's been so long, I'm going to be so bad and rusty. I was all right. I did okay. And it gave me this new sort of confidence, if you like, to actually own my skills and own my language abilities a lot more than I think I've felt in the past. I think, and maybe, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, this is so personal and depends on where you're at, but like when you learn so many languages and people say, oh, what languages do you speak? That's always the question, right? Speak. So then you want to go into this big kind of detailed rant about how, not rant, but big detailed answer about like, well, you know, French and Spanish are like here, and then I speak these languages to this level and, you know, bits of this, but I'm really not fluent, you know, because you feel like you're going to be tested. And now I feel much more like I can own a lot more of those languages and be like, yeah, I do speak Indonesian. I can totally get by. Yes, I do speak Bulgarian. I can totally still get by. It's still there, right? And these languages, I felt like maybe we're going to need more work. Maybe I just kind of let them fade away a bit too much and a bit too long. But no, I'm all right. And I've kind of lighted then. This was at the very beginning of the month as well. So it sort of lit this, like reignited this passion for like learning multiple languages at once and also learning languages that I've learned previously and still keeping on with that. So in terms of what that meant the rest of my month looked like, there's been a lot of Korean, there's been a lot of Chinese, there's been quite a bit of Guarani and a bit of Japanese as well. Both two languages that, like the last two, Guarani and Japanese, that I really enjoy, I really like. And I'm a little bit stronger than Korean and Chinese, but Korean and Chinese were like definitely two of my weakest, I'd say the two weakest of the language marathon day. So they're two that I feel like, you know what, I do actually like them. I do want to be good at these languages. I want that. So I want to work harder for it because I want to travel to those places a lot more. So yeah, it's given me this newfound realization that they're languages that need work from me. So I've been doing a bit of that. Yeah, and then I'd say like a week ago now maybe, when the government here flipped everything around and said, stay alert. Cool, I'm alert, I'm controlling the virus. Then it became a little bit more basically one of the other things that had halted my kind of progress with Manx and with Welsh, in particular those two, because that's what I was doing and focusing on for travelling in April to those places. One of the things that really halted that for me was when they changed the rule in the UK that you could only go out for exercise once a day. And I was, at that time, before, I was going out in the morning, walking and listening to my Manx lesson. I was going out at lunchtime and listening to my Welsh lesson. And then I'd go out and do exercise in the afternoon, right? Well, those walks, I couldn't do anymore. I could only go out once a day. And it felt so like, I don't know how this has been in your country, but it felt very much for me like, okay, the pressure now is on for that once a day exercise. It needs to be worth it. It needs to be, if you're running, it needs to be longer than a 5K to make it like you've used your once a day wisely. And it felt really pressured, right? When you just have that once a day. Now, about a week ago, they've lifted this. Amazing. So I restarted. Actually, I started from the beginning again with the Manx and with the Welsh, trying to get back into that habit of walking in the morning and walking at lunch again with those. So it's nice just to touch base again there, because I do hope that we will get to those places and we will get to be able to make that series of language stories, fingers crossed, very, very soon. So yeah, there's actually quite a lot of languages that I've sort of kept since the language marathon. But I feel totally fine with that. Like I've always been learning multiple languages. I know, people think, whoa, how do you learn two at once? And I do get it. I get how that would seem crazy if you're learning one and you really want to get good in that one. But my goal's never really been to like be fluent. I don't think. It's just been to learn more and to communicate and to keep learning. It's never like, there's never that end goal for me of like fluency. It's just to keep progressing. So with that, it then becomes easier to do more at once, I think. I think that's how I sort of see it, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty much May. Moving forward into June, more of the same. More Korean. I've booked packages now. I found some teachers I really enjoyed for Korean, for Indonesian, for Guarani, and for Chinese. So they're the ones I'm really sort of just working with at the minute. But those lessons, like now I've done the challenge, I've completed the language challenge, I've got those packages now, they're going to be lasting a lot longer because I want to really do a lot more in between the lessons. So yeah, I'm quite excited about what's ahead. And just a very, very quick update, if you haven't heard yet, a couple of weeks ago, I released 100 creative ideas for solo language learners. So you may be thinking, that sounds familiar. Yes, it does. Because a few years ago, I released 100 creative ideas for online language teachers. And I always had this in mind to do a similar thing for learners, because like it's great if teachers know like these ideas, but for learners, it's slightly different when you're doing it on your own, right? When you're learning solo. Learning solo, I say this all the time, it doesn't mean alone. It doesn't mean that you don't have a tutor. It doesn't mean that you don't have a language exchange partner or any kind of communication. Like language is people, right? You got to speak with people, but you are potentially like you're there. You're like the driving force of your language learning. If that is you and you've ever felt like, I'm so bored of these resources. I'm so like, you know, just then they're just monotonous and repetitive and like, ugh, how do I keep motivated here? This is like getting boring now and repetitive and what's going on? If you've ever felt that, this is that. This is the solution to that. This is for you. So basically it's an ebook, but there's digital content attached. So there's videos walking you through tech tools, walking you through certain skills as well. There is examples of my own like use of some of these. There's templates in there so you can get started right away. It's all there, packaged up together nicely for you with a little bow on top, a little digital bow because it's a digital thing, and it's available now. Yay! So I'm very, very happy to finally share this with you. I'll share a link to that in the description below as well. So if you feel like this is going to be good for me, this is what I need to just kind of it's always there. It's not just like this one-time power up. It's like you have this whenever you feel that monotony beginning to creep in with what you're doing and with your learning, with your routine. You can just bring this in and be like, okay, let's just, okay, yeah, that I'm going to try that. That's gonna help me out, and you can inject a little fun, a little spark of inspiration, if you like, into your language learning. That's what it's there for. So yeah, check that out. Link in the description, and I think that's everything. How is your language learning going right now? Let me know. Always love to chat. I always check the comments as often as I can. And of course, if you haven't already, remember to subscribe for regular language learning videos right here on YouTube. And I'll see you next time. All right. Thank you. Bye.